This is the show that has hosted everyone from Sugar Ray Leonard to Keith One-Time Thurman. This is Tough Talk Tonight, brought to you by Heavy Bag Boxing.
Welcome to another episode of Tough Talk Tuesday. As always, I'm your host, Lucas Biggers, alongside me, my right-hand man, Robert Alexander, and James Del Campo. What's going on, everybody?
Doing all right.
Gonna be a good fight. Guys, I've been waiting for this for a long time. We are finally on the Tough Talk eve of Beterbiev Bivol. Or Bivol Beterbiev, however you want to say it. Guys, I've said from way back when we wanted this, that this is actually a 50-50 fight. Do you both still believe it's a 50-50 fight? Bivol's up there. I mean, that power is obviously still there, but Bivol is getting up there in age.
I think the odds are slightly favor. I think that the odds favor Beterbiev, but very lightly. He's up here and there, but it's minus like 150, 175. So it looks really cool. But you called it this could be the fight of the century. I call it World War III.
I think that's what it should have said on the scorecard on the call sheet.
Yeah, I wouldn't miss this for the world. And a good card too.
Yeah. Rob, do you think it's still 50-50?
Well, the beauty of this bout is it's a style clash, right? It's a very big style clash. You got Beterbiev, who has all the power. What does he still have? Like 100% KO ratio, right?
He does.
Every fight ended in knockout. And you have Bivol. You have Bivol, who is just a freak in the ring. He systematically breaks each and every opponent down, including Canelo. And that in itself is how good Bivol is. So they both have equalizers in that. I feel like they're both now equally weighted in the experience level too. I feel like they both got enough fights under their belt to where they both have a tremendous amount of experience. The only thing with Bivol is Bivol's been on a big stage. He fought Canelo. There's no bigger stage than that. Beterbiev hasn't been on this stage yet. He just hasn't. So that's the only tilt I can give to Bivol. Other than that, I mean, yeah, it's as 50-50 as it gets. It really is.
Yeah. With this big of fights, I kind of like to go into everything a little bit more in depth, kind of break it down and see where the pros and cons are kind of for each guy. With this one first, let's talk Beterbiev. We know he's got the power, guys. So that is obviously the pro for him, but let's look a little bit more into it. The guy is 39. I think towards the end of some of those other fights, you got Yarde and Caleb Smith. I mean, they made it a little bit further. You thought maybe they might actually finish on their feet, and they didn't do it. At no point, though, has he really faced like somebody in that's of size, right? And that can box extremely well. What would you say would be his next opponent down? Obviously, it'll be Bivol after the fight, but who would be the next actual boxer that he's faced?
As far as quality of fighters goes, or
right, like quality boxer, not puncher, but boxer.
Yeah, not a puncher, a boxer, right?
There's not a lot there. I think there's going to be a huge gap from whoever that number two is to Bivol. But you're talking a guy who, I mean, he dog walked Canelo. He outboxed Canelo. He did what he wanted to do with Canelo. He could have pressured and maybe even got Canelo out of there. I think he didn't want to take any chances. He laid back, took it kind of easy, and just outpointed him severely. The scorecards were way closer than what it ever should have been because you struggle to give Canelo maybe 2 rounds in that fight. The question is really, can the power get to Bivol, right? That the power is obviously, we go through all these. We're going to do power and speed and range of ownership, but the power is clearly in the hands of Beterbiev. But the problem is he going to be able to land anything significant against a boxer like Bivol. 9 out of 10 times, guys, we would say that the boxer wins out, right? Skills pay the bills.
Yes.
But Beterbiev is a different monster. We have never said that about somebody. We've said it with a high knockout ratio, but not 100%.
But it's really hard to define Beterbiev because he's kind of puncher, kind of boxer. He can fight. He does, good on the inside, obviously. Okay at distance. He's really, really versatile. I think he's probably one of the most versatile out there. And it's going to be important for Bivol to stay away. I mean, not get involved in a firefight with him, especially early on in the fight. And he's got to steal some rounds too. So turn up the heat late in the round, last 30 seconds, maybe steal it that way. But it's going to be difficult for Bivol to keep him off of him. I mean, if he gets trapped in the corner, if he gets caught in the ropes, that could be serious.
You agree, Rob?
So the issue I have with Bivol is, in answering the question is, again, his resume lacks a little bit when you go through it. It lacks. He hasn't had that big fight yet. He hasn't had that big opponent yet. Yes, there's Callum Smith, Anthony Yarde, Joe Smith Jr. These are all B-level fighters. Marcus Brown. There isn't an A-list fighter on his resume, period.
I agree with that.
So when you talk about the power, it's not, to me, but Beterbiev, it's not just the power, it's the willpower. It's the willpower in him, right? He's willing to take punishment and take risk to get the knockout, to get the punch that he wants. He's willing to do it. So that's where it's going to play dividends for him in this bout, is when Bivol lacks throwing, when he lacks engagement, then Beterbiev better be on him. Better be on him tight, pressuring him, and hit him with everything he's got.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this in other fights too, when it's there's one side that's just clearly power, and we always say you got to be perfect, right? Like, you got to be perfect. But Bivol has to basically keep on his P's and Q's for 12 full rounds. And whether he's able to pull that off, I mean, we'll get into that a little bit deeper into it when we get into our predictions. But I think we can all agree, power-wise, definitely Beterbiev has it. It's just, is he going to be able to land it? So
is that Beterbiev can take a shot too. I mean, he bleeds a little bit here and there, but he can take a shot.
He does bleed.
Against any yard, he took quite a few. That was a really good bout. Anyone who's a Beterbiev fan got to go back and watch that a second time, because it's a really, really good fight.
Definitely. Brutal.
That's what I'm saying, though. Is that a good thing? Because he does take too many shots. And with a guy at skill level as Bivol is that a smart thing to do?
Yeah, I mean, I would even say Yarde has more power than Bivol. So if he's able to take that, I think Beterbiev can handle Bivol's power. Vice versa, we don't know that yet. Bivol has had some heavy hitters, though. I mean, he went up against Joe Smith Jr. He's very heavy-handed. He was able to handle that for the most part. He did get rocked, though, didn't he? Did he get rocked?
Against Bivol?
Yeah, Joe Smith Jr. Bivol?
Yeah, he walked back to his corner doing the Bambi. I think it was the end of the round 10. He looked like he was
shot.
No, not shot, man, but he got rocked. And he went back to his corner, man, on really, really shaky legs. But he won the fight decisively. It was just that one miscue. I think he got caught like right in the temple.
See that one miscue?
It was Joe Smith. That's a pretty strong, serious puncher there.
You are, but I mean, Joe Smith, Beterbiev, they're pretty comparative. So a lot of people are going to say Beterbiev's obviously even harder. So that little one miscue kind of makes you say, once Beterbiev lands, I don't know how this is going to go. But let's change now. We're going to not talk about power. Let's talk about the speed. Who do you think has the speed benefit, the speed advantage in this fight?
I think it's clearly Bivol.
Clearly. I clearly have Bivol. Clearly.
There are times that Beterbiev with the short punches seem a lot quicker, but then there's some that look like, man, that took a century to get there.
Yeah.
So he shows bursts of speed, but it seems like when anything significant lands, it is not as quick. No.
Well, on the inside, it's about power. And, when you're fighting at distance, and that's what Bivol does very well, he jabs extremely well. And he's on a pendulum, so he's moving back and forth really well, Russian style. It's a beautiful thing. And so the idea is that that's where his speed's going to come in. Because the one thing about Bivol, though, is that he's really one-dimensional. He doesn't have a lot of tools. I mean, he's disciplined, he's conditioned, he's tough. He's smart. He's got everything, but I mean, how often do you see him throw the hook, the uppercut? He's basically a 1-2 guy, which is okay if you make it work. I mean, how many different punches did he use against Canelo? It's just a very shallow toolbox there, very limited.
I mean, we already kind of answered the speed, so let's go to that here. Let's do styles. How's the style going to look? Because, like you said, I mean, it's very going to be very weird style clash here. Rob, how do you see this playing out as far as you got boxer, you got the pure puncher? I mean, he is puncher boxer, but definitely more on the puncher side. And Bivol more of a pure boxer. Like he said, not a lot of range. He's not throwing a lot of hooks. He's throwing them as he needs. But more than anything, right, James, he plays it safe. Right. Yeah. So he'll follow that strategy, and that strategy works like clockwork. It is there. And he's very disciplined that he can keep following that. Even when shit falls apart, he's able to still follow that plan. Rob, do you think that style is going to be broken up by Beterbiev?
That's what he needs to do. Absolutely. Listen, both of these guys are at the big level here. Both of these guys are elite enough in what they do. They're very well and very good at their own style and what they do. What's going to depict this fight is actually who instills their style in the match. Who makes the fight their style. That's really what's going to depict it. Beterbiev can, if he pressures him, gets in close, roughs him up. He's going to have to do dirty work in there, especially when Bivol tries to hold. We know he's going to try to hold when he gets in close, not allow him to get his punches put off. So, yeah, if Beterbiev can do that. And then one of the most important things when you're a power puncher is to let your punches be felt, even when they miss. When you hit them in the elbow, when you hit them in the shoulder, make them feel that power. Make them feel that it's different. And, we don't say this enough, but stop with the head hunting all the time. Go to the body. Go to the body, kind of rough them up a bit in there, especially before the break. If you can get some of those body shots in there, then you can kind of wear him down. Because Bivol is a machine. He's a Russian machine, like James said. You're going to have to impose your will and your style. So, yes, that's how he can do it, and that's what he's got to do.
There's that one thing, though. They're not – either one of them is a good body puncher. I mean, I've seen Beterbiev go to the body, I think, more than Bivol. Bivol seems to be more of a head hunter in a good way, in a disciplined way. But there's that thing that they both do very well, is they land punches to the dome, like right to the top of the head. It's a Russian thing, I guess. I'm not sure, man. I know they both do it, and they both do it well. It's not so much an American thing. I think we tend to go for the jaw and the temple a little bit more. These guys go to the top of the dome.
They go to the brain.
Yes.
They Russian brain missiles. That's what them are.
And so you're right. The idea is that those are lethal punches. And I think Beterbiev does it really well. I've been watching some highlights, man, and he just uses that. I mean, no matter what kind of defense you're on, you've got to protect the top, and most people are not accustomed to doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Hope Bivol can work his way, through all that and be able to protect up high, because it's definitely coming. Shit's coming.
Yeah, you're right. And that's something Golovkin did a lot too. A lot of top of the head knockouts, a lot of, right on the top of the temple or above. Yes. Yeah. Remember Marco Antonio Rubio, how he knocked him out? It was basically right on top of the head.
Right. Dome. Like
but, yeah. All right, let's do ring generalship. I mean, I think Beterbiev gets kind of the short end of the stick on this. I think he's a lot better than what people say. He's able to cut off the ring. He's able to find his guy and get him out of there. So, I mean, he obviously is doing pretty good. But we got Bivol, who also kind of controls that negative space. He's able to jab back out. You're swinging and hitting nothing because he's already took that step backward. So the footwork, as far as ring generalship, helps him out a lot. But guys, who would you say has the advantage? I'm clearly leaning a little towards Bivol there.
I think you're right. Beterbiev does have better ring generalship than people give him credit for, but Bivol is elite at ring generalship. He controlled the ring against Canelo, controlled the ring against Gilberto Ramirez. That's hard to do.
I mean, Canelo doesn't move like he used to, so it means less, but I do agree with you, Rob.
I would think it's pretty close. I don't see that either one has any deficiencies there. Possibly Bivol in that regard. But he's fights on the outside better than he does the inside. Beterbiev is the opposite, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
And they're both versatile fighters, so I would kind of say that's a toss-up in a sense. I think that Beterbiev might be a little bit more aggressive in this fight and push the action a little bit more. So, man, hard to say.
That's funny, James. I think the opposite. I think Bivol actually is going to be more aggressive than what we're used to seeing.
Really? I can't see that, Rob. I'm going to be honest with you. I think he's going to be countering more than anything and waiting for Beterbiev to make first move. And
look at Spurs in that Canelo fight. Look at Spurs in that Canelo fight when he really let his hands go. When Canelo got them couple pops in and the crowd's going crazy. And Bivol gave it right back to him and in bunches too. He came through with combinations. Like James says, he only shows you 2 punches. He only shows you, and they're very good punches. They're very disciplined punches. He doesn't show you the other stuff. He hasn't had to show you the other stuff. Look out on Saturday.
Yeah, it's rare to see him throw an uppercut or, something a little different, like, like a shot to the liver or anything. He's basically 1-2, but, when you do it well, that's all you need. I didn't see him I didn't see a lot of dimension against Canelo, but, he handled Canelo.
He didn't have to. Yeah,
175. Because Canelo didn't have any real business moving up to 175. He had taken down Kovalev, but that was Kovalev that was a little bit over the hill.
Diminished.
Kovalev. Yeah, that wasn't the best Kovalev we've ever seen. We all know that. Yeah. And it's a typical Canelo grab, where he's just finding a fighter out there who's got a belt, and it's kind of an easy pickings kind of thing. We all know that. But the other thing is that Bivol offered to come down to 168, and what happened? Nothing.
He don't want that smoke. He don't want that smoke.
Not a fucking thing.
Yeah.
So But you know what? I think Bivol would have handled that as well at 168. Who knows, man? It's what
I
we
think
believe,
so.
but I think he could have.
Right. I think we all do. I think even Canelo thinks that, because otherwise I would say that fight gets made.
Well,
here's
you're
the
right,
funny
because
part.
he didn't take the fight. So.
Exactly. And here's the funny part. If Bivol wins, he wants the rematch, but he wants the rematch for the undisputed title. Like, you don't want it back down at 168. He wants to be able to still say, I have an excuse. I have a way out to say I chase greatness at a higher level. Come off with that shit, man. Like, you just, you know what it is. You're trying to do pull one over on us all. We're not dumb. Like, you should have taken the fight at 168, tried to rematch, and tried to get back. I mean, that's something that Floyd does. And you guys know how I feel about Floyd, but at least he went back and he beat the guys that beat him, or at least came close to beating him. You know, so there's been a question mark with Lara. He was like, fuck that, I'm not doing that again. There's a question mark with these guys, and he doesn't want to fight him again. He did Golovkin. Golovkin had to be all but demanded. But we're getting way off topic. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Give me on Canelo rant.
No, but Bivol handled it. And then, like Rob said earlier, he handled Zurdo Ramirez as well. So I call Bivol the Mexicutioner, the new Mexicutioner.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't. I mean, he made Gilberto Ramirez probably rethink his whole strategy, his whole, should I even be fighting anymore?
He went to cruiserweight after that. He went to cruiserweight.
Yeah, and he's got one coming up in November, I guess, against Dylan Smith. So that should be pretty cool.
Let's see. Let's talk a little bit about Beterbiev. Do you think now, since we're going to go into predictions, we're working our way that way, the kind of the style clashes, and you're right, Rob, whoever gets the style to play out their way is going to win, right? And I think a lot of that is going to play into the power versus Beterbiev's ring generalship. Which one do we see winning out that night? Like, so you got to be perfect. If anybody can do it, it is Bivol with the ring generalship, being able to come in and out and stay relatively unharmed against Beterbiev. Like we said, we saw it against Joe Smith. He got hurt really bad. And Beterbiev is a little bit more powerful. Which one is going to win out? Is it going to be the power, or is it going to be the ring generalship of Bivol?
There's a couple other things to consider. Bivol has 2 fights? Beterbiev been out since the injury, so really this is his first fight in a long time.
The age too. I mean, you're looking at a 39-year-old Beterbiev, and they say power's the last thing to go, but I don't know. I mean, Bivol's 33, so I mean he's kind of should be nearing that prime.
I'm not trying to make excuses for it. I'm just saying there are other things to consider as well for the fans out there who want to look at the matchup head to head. But this is what it is. These two guys really don't play when it comes to fight game. They are two of the best in the world at what they do. Beterbiev 100 KO ratio. Lucas, is there even another fighter out there with that right now?
I don't know.
Right. Those KOs are falling by the wayside right now. Morrell didn't get one in his last fight. We all know Berlanga struggled in his last several fights with the knockouts. This guy is up there in age and in fights, and he still has yet to go the distance. Bivol was the underdog in the Canelo fight. People acted like they never even heard of who Bivol was when he stepped up to face Canelo. And really, it was Canelo who stepped up to face him. And he handled business. Not only did he do that, he came out and handled business with another tough fighter in Zurdo Ramirez. And he's had 2 bouts. Of course, they've been meaningless because he's waiting for Beterbiev. And he's had 2 bouts since then, and he's dominated those bouts. These are probably two of the toughest fighters in the world right now, going toe to toe. The best thing that I could hope for, please, please, please go the distance. Please. Make it a 12-round war. Make it a hell of a fight. The one that we've all been waiting for. That's my biggest prayer and hope for this fight, is that we do get to see a knockout, drag out, stand up, toe to toe fight for 12 glorious rounds. Maybe even bloody in there too.
What's my prediction? Pain. It's gonna be a good one, man. No, I mean, what are the keys to victory? What else? We have already talked power, how he's gonna have to land it, but what else would be Beterbiev's key to victory here?
Pressure. He's got to move forward and initiate all that contact just to stay up on the cards, because I think this is going to go the distance, and it could favor Beterbiev if he's applying pressure. I think Bivol can do the same thing, but I don't think he can do it as well. It's going to be a toss-up there, but I think Beterbiev has got a slight advantage. But I would love to see, a 12-round war, and followed by a rematch, and make it a trilogy while I'm at it. Because, well, I hope and I pray that this is, what we expect. We've been salivating on this one for a long, long time, and here it is. But in the end, I think Beterbiev could take it just by initiating contact and, cutting the ring, taking it to Bivol, and punching first and punching last, opening with a jab, closing with a jab, using his heavy punches and definitely trying to cut the ring a little bit. But that's kind of hard to do with Bivol because he moves so well, but he's got to cut the ring a little bit, or a lot rather, and stay on top of him. And if he does, I think he walks away with the victory.
I mean, I definitely do not disagree at all. I mean, Robbie, he makes some good points. Would you say otherwise? I mean, you're looking at Beterbiev's going to be take it.
Well, James said it earlier too. Bivol is a great counter puncher. You got to try and take his counter punching ability away from him. You can't let him just counter you all night. Another thing is work from the inside. That's where his best bet is too. Don't let Bivol get the length in there to where he can utilize the jab, utilize the 1-2s, and keep scoring points that way. Kind of get it on the inside where you can get those short punches in. Use your uppercut. Use something to try to hurt this guy, or at least try to stop his momentum. Those are the two things that Beterbiev would want to do, in my opinion. We already spoke on the issue we felt with power. So at the end of the day, if Bivol's power really isn't hurting you there, he's not hurting you that much, then take those punches in at the end of the day, take risk, and get in on the inside where you can land your power shots and use those to your advantage. Maybe knock them off balance, maybe knock them down once or twice in the fight, but utilize that as well.
I mean, I definitely agree, you guys. Outworking him is definitely what you want to do, and Beterbiev's going to have to outthrow as well, so he's going to have to outvolume the guy. The thing is he can be able to do that. So, rewind. We've been talking about Beterbiev's power. Does Bivol have enough power to keep him off of him? Because if not, Beterbiev's coming right through that jab, and Bivol actually has a shorter reach. So getting inside for Beterbiev isn't going to be hard. This is not going to be Canelo versus Bivol, this is going to be somebody that has a bigger reach than Bivol. That's a problem. That's a big fucking problem. Especially with what you guys are saying. I mean, he's going to be able to throw at will. I mean, from the outside, land, get in. I don't know if he's going to have. He's going to have to be on point this entire fight, because if not, Beterbiev's getting inside, and just like James said, once he's inside is when he does his best work. Yeah. And Bivol cannot. I mean, after seeing Joe Smith Jr., I know it was a good punch, but I don't think he can eat a lot of those. I don't think anybody can eat a lot of Beterbiev shots.
No. But you know what? We kind of tend to use Canelo as a measuring stick here in a way.
Yeah.
It's like I think the biggest difference here is that when Bivol took Canelo on, Canelo is kind of like a one puncher now. He doesn't really throw the combinations, and I think that's really working. That's not in his favor anymore, especially with a guy like Bivol, who's kind of like a volume puncher. Beterbiev is different. Beterbiev works in combinations and in volume and in power, so there's a big difference in the two. When Bivol comes forward, he's going to have a lot of fire coming back at him. Right. So that's what's going to make this fight work. Beterbiev has got a hell of an arsenal. So, man, this is a tough one. It's a tough call. But I can see that, defensively, Beterbiev is probably a lot better than Canelo as well. So we keep making that comparison. But he moves well. He covers up well. The one thing about Beterbiev is that he cuts well, too. So this might be a little paint job favoring Bivol. I hope it's not, but it could be, because he's had a lot of cuts over the years, and that might come into play here.
That's why I said it could be bloody in there. It could. Bivol, Lucas, this actually comes back to the age-old question that we've been asking each other for years now. Speed versus power, right? Speed versus power. Can Bivol get off his shots quick enough to frustrate and get into Beterbiev's defense system to where he can actually utilize that speed to make it power? No, he's not going to get him with just one shot. So if it's just the 1-2s, he's going to have to keep thumbing in 1-2s fast and quick at him all night. That's why I said he needs to throw those other punches. He needs to throw those hooks. He needs to throw those uppercuts. He needs to throw those body shots even at him. He needs to just utilize his speed to get through Beterbiev and outwork him like he normally does. That's what he wants to try to do, is use his speed.
All right. I can't argue that. Let's go into predictions, guys. I'm eager to hear it. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. I'm going to say I like to see Bivol win because I like Bivol, but here I think Beterbiev wins by a hair. And I think it goes the distance, and he takes it on just volume, just good volume punching, good combinations, accurate punching. Bivol responds to everything, but not with the same accuracy and not with the same power. Now, he just doesn't land the punches that Beterbiev will land. So I think Beterbiev walks away with a really close decision. This might be a split too.
Okay.
And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
I mean, it's a tough one to predict, guys, because honestly, it could be over quick. It could be the whole 12 rounds. This is a really good fight. I'm really hoping it plays out like we all planned. But Rob, go right ahead.
Well, I don't think it's going to be over quick. I definitely think that there could be several knockdowns within this fight. Both have shown a tremendous amount of willpower. Even Bivol, when he's been hurt, always comes back and dominates the fight. Always comes back tougher in the next round. And Beterbiev, he's willing to take the punishment. He's willing to put himself in harm's way and get knocked down to try to get his opponent out. This is a man who seeks and destroys, has so every single time. My opinion, though, is just, listen, to me, the most elite fighter in the world right now, period, out there, period, is Bivol. To me, he's the most elite fighter in the world. I don't think we've seen all of his arsenal and all that he can do. He hasn't been pushed there yet, not even by Canelo. This is a hell of a fight for him. This is one that's going to definitely push him to the brink and Bivol, like he always has done in his career. He's going to make the adjustments. He's going to do the necessary things that he needs to do, and he's going to win the fight. And it might not be the type of fight style that people want to see, but it's going to be the style that wins. I like Bivol. I'm going to even also go with James's theory, though. I think it's going to be split.
Split decision. All right. For Bivol. So we got a split decision. Beterbiev. Split division for Bivol.
You got the tiebreaker.
I did not expect it to go this far. First, let's go ahead and pull up some of the odds here. Let's see, what kind of odds are we looking at? That's close.
It's really, really tight.
So you're looking at basically 1-to-1 odds for Beterbiev. So they got Bivol a slight favorite, but they might as well just say this is a 50-50 fight as far as Vegas is concerned. They don't know, just like we don't know. We are trying. I definitely see Beterbiev trying to outwork him, outpace him, outvolume him, and just bring the pressure. I do. And I see the ring generalship working for, a good portion of the fight, but eventually that is going to get broken down. The question then is there enough of the scorecard left for Beterbiev to make up? That I still have not yet determined, but I'm riding with the fact that I truly believe in Bivol's ring generalship over Beterbiev's power. I think he's going to be able to at least keep him off of him long enough to last. I think it's going to be a really close fight. I don't know about split decision. I'm just going to say decision for Mr. Bivol. But this one's hard. I've really gone back and forth all week trying to figure it out, and I got to say Bivol.
You're both wrong.
Now, people, this one, I'm going to give a huge kudos as per usual right now that we have to do. Huge kudos to Turks for making this fight. It's in Saudi Arabia, so it's a little early, people. It's about 6 p.m., I believe, Eastern time here when the event starts. But it is in Saudi Arabia. Kudos to him because this bout should have been and was slated to be much sooner. But due to Bivol being Russian, they would not allow him to fight for the title because when he was ready to step up and take this fight, Russia invaded Ukraine. We got to take the politics out of the sport. Kudos to Turkish for doing that and making this fight happen. It was a delay because of the injury from Beterbiev, but we're finally getting it, Lucas. No more politics, no more injuries.
It is far, far too long. I mean, I wish we wouldn't have got a couple of years ago. This is what drives me nuts about boxing, is because when you get time into it, I mean, that fight could have been different from when it first could have been made to when it actually gets made. No different than Floyd Pacquiao, no different than, Tyson, Lennox Lewis. All of these things could have been very different. So I do also think that Beterbiev's age is going to play a part into it. I think it's going to be a little bit harder for him to keep that kind of pace James. Like we said, he needs to outwork Bivol. He needs to really bring it to him. And can he do that being almost 40, or maybe he will be 40? I'm not sure when his birthday is, but he's up there.
It's in it's in his DNA. I mean, his fighting DNA. He's always moving forward, and he's always looking to, decapitate somebody. I don't see him doing anything different in this particular fight. Although he's got to be really, really careful because Bivol's got speed. But he's definitely bringing the fight right at Bivol. He's coming right for him. He's like a hurricane.
There's one coming. No pun intended with the people in Florida, but there's one coming. This is going to be one badass fight. Regardless, I'm not sure. I haven't heard. Maybe you two have. Is there any kind of rematch clause for this fight?
I'm not sure.
I have not heard. I would assume not, but there's not like a clear A side. When there's a clear A side, then there's usually a rematch clause. I think this is about as close as you can get.
Yeah, I don't know though. I think it's gonna be a hell of a fight where it will warrant it a rematch. So I guess you could say this go around Bivol wins, but in a trilogy, who knows how that one could go with these two. But moving on to different set of news though, because this plays heavy in the game that we're just talking about as far as if there's going to be a rematch or not. Finally, David Benavidez gets David Morrell. January 25th, it's already been announced. They're going to have on January 25th, Benavidez with David Morrell. Guys, this is a power move from Benavidez because he wants the winner of this fight next. And I'm telling you that because they put together a very, very piss poor other opponent in front of him that he could have just took and walked through. And he decided to go forward and take on David Morrell.
Man, talk about good fights getting signed. That is another good one. Is that a Riyadh one?
No, PBC.
No. Okay.
That one will be PB. David is PBC.
That is a good PBC fight. One, we've been asking for both these guys to kind of step up. Obviously, he's had the Canelo fight, but we've been wanting to see Benavidez against another really good opponent. We got Morrell, who was a champ. We've been asking for him to step up and have that measuring stick. We're finally getting that. We're not going to go into predictions, but I really like that fight. I mean, it's no Bivol Beterbiev, but it is going to be a good fight. James, you surprised that one got made?
No, not really surprised. I was hoping that, at 168 they would hammer it out, and then one of them would go after the Can Man, for all the belts. But the Can Man is not responding, so it's time to move up. I think Benavidez did the George Jefferson quite some time ago. He's been at 175 now or passed on 168 and gave up that interim belt some time ago. I was surprised when Morrell did it because I didn't realize that he was moving up. I thought he would stay at 168, maybe hope to get that Canelo fight at some point. He's 11-0, 9 knockouts, so he's a serious contender. He's really, really good. Not so much the Cuban style. He is Cuban, but he really brings it. He's pretty vicious. So this is going to be good. This is a really, really good fight.
Yeah, I mean, good overall because you're going to have that style clash too. I think this is going to be another barn burner, and hopefully they have a really good card around
it. The interesting thing here is that at this point, because of the shenanigans of Canelo, all of these guys at 175 can say, "No, Canelo, no, we don't want to fight you. You're not a big enough name at this weight class yet." stay at 168 since you denied us all these years, and
Mhm.
let us fight each other. And let us go out after these big fights and fight each other now. Since you want to come up only when it benefits you, but stay down and not give nobody, when we were at that weight class, the shot at you. Yeah, you only want us to get the clout at 175, and then you'll say you'll go up to take on us, because if you lose, you'll say, oh, but that's not my weight class.
You wouldn't do that.
Well, no, I mean, I think they should invite him to the 175-pound party. If Benavidez wins this fight, he should challenge Canelo. Say, come on up. Come on up. You wanted to fight at 175? Bring it. Because there's no excuse at this point. You know, his excuse was that Benavidez only brings a 25-pound advantage on the night of the fight. Well, think about it. When he fought Berlanga, he was probably about 193, 194, which is 25 fucking pounds, just like Berlanga was. 25 pounds above, right? I think we talked about this on the last show. Okay, so you know what? Let's eliminate that excuse. Come on up to 175 from 168. No marbles, no belts, no nothing. Just come on up and let's do it, and see if he'll take on Benavidez. Because I've been waiting for this fight for forever. Benavidez Canelo, I've been waiting forever. So hopefully he does take care of business and beats Morel. Could be a really, really close fight, kind of like Beterbiev and Bivol. I think that Benavidez' experience gives him the upper hand in this one. So I would think Benavidez takes it, and then it's just, doors wide open for Canelo to say, okay, finally, I will finally face you. And that wouldn't even be in Riyadh. That could be in Las Vegas, and that's an immediate sellout. Benavidez, Alvarez.
Yeah. Hell yeah, man.
Big fucking fight right there. That's big.
Yeah. I would like to see Canelo not be in Vegas. Like, why stay in Vegas? Why is that?
It's kind of his home court in a sense. And he's in charge of the promotion, and they call all the fucking shots.
That's my problem.
Paid, who gets what, how they do it, and
Floyd always
all that. They control everything.
Yeah, that's my issue, and I'm like, you benefit anyway from traveling a little. I mean, I know it's technically your home in a way, but not really. I mean, there are other ways you can fight. I just don't understand. You want to sell out. You can sell out big arenas. I mean, go sell out Dallas Stadium. The Cowboys. I forgot.
That might be something he'll look at doing. I think he has looked at that in the past. I just don't. He has. Let's be honest, guys. He hasn't been in a big enough fight for that.
Who's that? I guess. I was talking about Canelo, but Canelo better.
Canelo. He hasn't had a big enough opponent for that yet.
You don't think? You don't think Golovkin was that? People really wanted that fight. I mean, that was
fight, yeah, that fight, yeah, but that was a little wild. I'm talking about now. If you want to see him get out, I think he will.
I'm just saying he's the new Floyd, and it just seems that much more corrupt when you stay in one place. The judges and everybody else come to you, and then even when you're dog walked in a fight by Bivol, you almost get a decision. You got to get out of there because it makes you look like you're catered to. Not that you aren't, because I think a whole boxing world knows you're catered to. But at least you need to prove it to yourself. Get out of there and actually go do something. Go beat somebody on the road. Get hungry again. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But guys, we're nearing the end of this show. I want to bring up one more thing. Bivol, Beterbiev, both these guys undefeated. Somebody's always got to go. But after that, this win means big things for whoever does win, right? I'm talking, is this pound for pound things? Is the winner of this going to be either the top of the pound for pound or in Beterbiev's case, at least make top 5, top 3 after this?
If Bivol wins this fight, I think he's the best fighter in the world. Period.
I would agree. I would back it. For sure. If he's able to clearly defeat Beterbiev, I have no problem with him being above Usyk as far as pound for pound. James,
you got a point. Maybe two.
I think they're both top 5 fighters. So either one of them is at the top up there with Inoue and Usyk and Crawford. So you're looking at a top 5 fighter either way. I don't know that they would be ranked number 1 pound for pound, but definitely up there in the top 5. And I think they're both there already. I think they're both top 5 fighters. That's what makes this match so freaking great. This is really, really good. And so I'll admit it. Hats off to Turkey LL Sheik on this one. Hopefully, it all works out well, and we get a good, solid rematch as well as a bonus.
Yeah, and this by far is the number 1 versus number 2 guy in the division by far. There's not a light heavyweight better than these two at all.
Nope. And the real question is now where do they go from here? They almost have to fight each other again. It depends, I guess, on the outcome and how that first fight looks. But after this, I mean, we don't see them going up, right? I mean, they're going to stay where they're at because they're on the verge of a possible Canelo fight. There's options from 168 that's going to come up. So, I mean, this is their division. So, I mean, like you guys said, I mean, if Benavidez wins, we could see Benavidez Bivol. We're going to have stuff to talk about in this division. It's definitely not going to be dead after this, right?
No, they'll be undefeated at a possible stacked division now. Morrell's there. Benavidez is there. Canelo's on the brink. He can move up there. Like you said, the 168 guys, some of the tough opponents over there, some of the new contenders that were at 168 might divulge back up there to it. So there's a lot for them to do. In the case of Bivol, this is his legacy. If he's undisputed, this will be able to carry him till the end of his career, fighting holding this title and defending it against all these people that are coming after him.
That will make him a truly good fighter. Getting past Beterbiev is a huge, huge thing. But if he's able to do that and then defend against Benavidez, against Morrell, against these other young Thundercats, and we keep saying when you're undefeated or when you're undisputed, nobody seems to stay. Nobody seems to stay and say, come knock me off the fucking mountaintop, bitch. Nobody plays King of the Hill. You know what I mean? Nobody comes say, come get this shit. I'm at the top. Everybody vacates. Everybody, even Usyk. I mean, I that wasn't all his fault. I know the IBF, whatever, took it. I get it. It's weird and it happens, but I want to see somebody sit there and defend it. And if Bivol can do that, I will gladly crown him as number 1 pound for pound in boxing.
If Bivol beats Beterbiev, no argument.
Yeah,
It's
a big if, big if. I've been back and forth on that one. Bivol, I kind of had pre-chosen, but as it got closer, I started looking at more footage and watching their previous couple of fights, and I can't get away from Bivol and how impressed I have been. Guys, any last takes? It's nearing closing time here.
I'm good.
That's your segment, buddy.
Just a shout out to Sakura and Javi. Hope you guys are safe and dry and on high ground, super high ground.
Yeah, I definitely second that. We wish everybody safety and security down in Florida. It's looking like it's going to get really rough. Hopefully it breaks down and goes lower category 4, 3, or just goes away. That would be great. Please can hope, right? But thank you all for tuning in. Definitely check out Beterbiev, Bivol. Please, when we get these fights, guys, you got to tune in. This is the only thing that's going to keep these good fights rolling and keep them wanting to be signed. if they have these big fights and then no viewership, why would they sign another one? They're gonna fight a Rod Sulka tomorrow and get more money out of it. So please watch this fight again. ESPN Plus. The undercard is going to be on DAZN. Watch both. Nothing wrong with watching the undercard, seeing some of the up and coming fights and fighters, getting to know them. Watch the next Canelo before he's Canelo. But Beterbiev is really that classic fight. It is power versus skill. So who's winning out? I think it's different every time. 9 out of 10 times they say skills pay the bills, but not everybody has power like Bivol or like Beterbiev. Sorry, I messed that all the way up. But thank you all for tuning in. And don't forget to check us out next Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific.